Hello all my fellow muggles and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to be kept up to date with my weekly videos, remember to subscribe down below because that helps the channel to grow. I'm super excited about today's video. Obviously you could tell from the title and by this little number that I'm wearing that we are doing a Harry Potter inspired video today. I am such a big Harry Potter fan and I'll be doing a makeup look inspired by one of the Hogwarts houses. And for today's video, I will be doing
Gryffindor!
Whoa, okay, everyone is super excited about this look. So let's settle down and let's get straight into it.
Let's go!
So I've already done my brows, my foundation, all of that. So I'm gonna jump straight into doing my eyes for this video. And first up, I'm going to just set the concealer on my eyelid with a nude eyeshadow. I'm using the Pale Pebble shade by Max Factor. Next up, I'm going into my Morphe Boss Mood palette, and the first shade I'm going to be using is the Play It Cool Matte Caramel shade, and I'm going to add this to my crease. As I mentioned, I am actually a massive Harry Potter fan, and because of this I have attended quite a few Harry Potter themed quiz nights, and I've been intrigued by the idea of seeing if I could pass the most difficult Harry Potter quiz. And it just so happens that on the Pottermore website, which is like the official fan website for Harry Potter, they have a quiz titled Just a Rather Difficult Harry Potter Quiz. And they actually say here, to be honest, if you get more than 5 right in this, we'll be impressed. So I thought it would be fun if we tasted our Harry Potter knowledge together. So if you want to grab a piece of paper and a pen, the first question is, what was the name of the Pygmy Puff Ginny bought from Weasley's Wizard Wheezers? The options are Barry, Craig, Hugo, or Arnold. I'm pretty sure it's Arnold. And it's correct, the answer is Arnold. So before we go on with the next question, I'm gonna go back into my Morphe palette and I'll be using the Talk Dirty Matte Chocolate Truffle shade. And I'm going to add this to my crease as well as the outer corner of my eye because I'm doing a 3/4 cut crease for this look. Should we do another question before moving on? The second question is, in Order of the Phoenix, what 3 things are scattered on the floor of the night bus when Harry, Ron and Hermione are heading back to Hogwarts? And the options are just bizarre. Eggshells, bat wings and digestive biscuits. Beetle dung, dead wasps and bourbon biscuits. Biscuits are obviously a common theme. Third option, cat hair, feathers and cat litter. And then the fourth option is frog spawn, cockroaches and custard creams. Okay, I'm gonna go for option number 4. So the answer is frog spawn, cockroaches and custard creams. So 2 out of 2 so far. Back to the makeup look, and I'm going to start adding some color to the eye, obviously because it's Gryffindor inspired. As you can see in the crest, we have that red and then the golden yellow color. So I'm gonna start with the red first. For the red, I will be mixing 2 shades together to get the color that I want. The first color I'm using is the Candy Crush Matte Pomegranate shade from the Morphe palette, and then I'll also be using the NYX Ultimate Shadow palette, and I'll be using the red shimmery shade. After mixing the 2 colors, I'm now just going to add the shade all over my crease and then also that outer corner, basically everywhere where we have the brown color at the moment. While I'm building up this red color, should we do the next question in our quiz? Question number 3 is, what are the names of Severus Snape's parents? Option number 1, Trip Snape and Eliana Prince. Option number 2, Tobias Snape and Ellen Prince. Option number 3, Tobias Snape and Eileen Prince. Obviously we have the T and the E trained. And then option number 4, Theodore Snape and Ethel Prince. For some reason Eileen or Ethel, I'm kind of like drawn to both those two options. I'm gonna go for option number 3. That was the correct answer. Severus Snape's parents are Tobias Snape and Eileen Prince. Now that we've built up that red, I still want to add some extra depth to that outer corner area. So I'm gonna go in with a darker red, and this is the matte red currant shade, again in the Morphe palette. And this I'm just going to add in that outer corner of the lid. I'm happy with that, so we are gonna go and move on from the red to the yellow. But before we do, let's do another question. What was the code name that Fred was mistakenly called on Potter Watch? And the options are rabbit, rodent, rapier, or last option, rattlesnake. I'm gonna go for rabbit. We have our first incorrect answer. The right answer was rodent. So well done if you got that. So far I'm sitting at 3 out of 4, which is not bad. They said if you get 5 they'd be impressed, so we're close to that. For the yellow, I'm going to add that to the other 3/4 of the lid where we haven't really done anything. But first I have to add some concealer. I'm using the Wet n Wild concealer in the shade Fair Beige. The concealer is just basically going everywhere where we want to add the yellow color, so that first 3/4 of the lid. So concealer done, as you can see. Before we move on to adding the yellow, let's do another question. This is question number 5. How many exceptions are there to Gamp's elemental law? 7, 3, 5, or 4? 7 seems like quite a lot. I think 3 is too little. Okay, let's go for 5. And it's correct. 5 is the correct answer. First step to adding the yellow color to the eye. I'm going to go back into the NYX palette and I'll be using the bright yellow color. So I'll just be building up this color everywhere we've added the concealer. We have some yellow on the eye now, but I want it to be a bit more on the gold side. So I'm going to go back into my Morphe palette and use the Pop Star Metallic Gilded Gold shade. And I'm just gonna add that all over where we just placed the yellow. So I'm quite happy with how the top of this eye is looking. I'm gonna go off camera and do the other eye, but before we go, it's time for another question. Question number 6. What color eyes does Winky the house elf have? I can't really remember that much about Winky, but the options are dark brown, hazel, emerald, or light brown. And I'm gonna go for hazel. So the correct answer was dark brown, not hazel. So on that note, I'll be right back and then we can continue with our Gryffindor look. I'm back and we have color on both eyes now, so we can move on to adding some color at the bottom. But before we do, why don't we do a few questions from our quiz? This is question number 7. What do blast-ended scroots look like to Harry? And the options are eels with humpbacks and legs, overcooked slimy prawns, mouthless snakes with hands, or deformed shell lobsters. I'm gonna go for the deformed shellless lobsters. Tick, we've got that one correct. Question number 8. What was Hermione originally going to call Spew? Ban the abuse of magical creatures and campaign to set them all free. Very catchy. Special protection for the welfare of elves and other magical creatures. Option number 3. Systematic abuse of magical creatures is wrong and must be stopped. And the last option, stop the outrageous abuse of our fellow magical creatures and campaign for a change in the legal status. Wow, that is a mouthful. So I think it's number 2, special protection for the welfare of elves and other magical creatures. It's the last one, the longest option out of all of them. Stop the outrageous abuse of our fellow magical creatures and campaign for a change in the legal status. Wow, okay. I don't think anyone would have remembered that. If you did, well done. Back to the bottom of our eyes. I'm just going to use a bit of the leftover red on my brush and then add that to the bottom lash line. So I'm really zoning into the outer corner just to connect the top red with the bottom red. For the inner half of the lower lash line, I want to add the yellow gold color again. So we'll be using the Morphe palette Pop Star Gold shade again. I'm done with adding all the eyeshadow, so before we move on to our next step, the next question in the Harry Potter quiz is, what is the name of the Bulgarian Minister for Magic? And I'm just gonna apologize in advance for butchering these names because I don't know how to pronounce it, so please bear with me. Option number 1, Ned Yalko. Option number 2, Daisy Slav. Option number 3, Oblansk. And option number 4, this is the hardest one probably, Sevitan. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go for option number 3, Oblansk. And we have the correct answer. Moving on from the quiz and the eyeshadow, I'm now going to use my Almay liquid liner in black, and I'm going to add a very thin line just above my upper lash line. While I'm waiting for the liquid liner to dry, why don't we get into the next question? So question number 10 is, what type of hat was Alpheus Doge wearing at Bill and Fleur's wedding? And the first option is a suspiciously stained wizard's hat, a battered bowler hat, a tatty top hat, or a moth-eaten phase. I don't know what a phase is. I'm feeling like tappy top hat might be. And it was the moth-eaten phase. Still don't know what that is, but it's not the tappy top hat. I think the liquid liner should be dry enough now, so let's move on to the rhinestones, my favorite part. The rhinestones I'm using are nail rhinestones. It's quite a nice set because there's so many different colors to choose from, but you guessed it, we'll only be using the red and yellow ones for this look. With the rhinestones, I'll be adding them to my lower lash line, and I'll be starting with the red rhinestones first, starting on the outer corner of the lower lash line. The rhinestones do take some time to apply, so if you are trying out this look, just be patient, it's going to be worth it. But to take a break from that, let's do another question from our quiz. This question is number 11. Who gave Ambrosius Flume, the manager of Honeyduke's sweet shop, his first job? And our options are Florian Fortescue, Horace Slughorn, Luke Mellifeel, or Cicerin Harcus. Again, sorry if I am butchering those names. The only name that I actually know is Horace Slughorn, but I don't see how he would be connected to the sweet shop, but still, it's the only name that I recognize, so that's the one I'm going for. And it's incorrect. The correct answer is Cicerin Harcus. Question number 12. Who is the author of Unfogging the Future? And our options are Selena Sapworthy, Galatea Merrythought, Greta Catchlove, or Cassandra Fablatsky. I don't know why, but I'm kind of going towards Selena, so let's try that one. Incorrect. The correct answer is Cassandra Fablatsky. Obviously, I need to take a break from the quiz because I'm getting all the answers wrong. So going back into our rhinestones, I'm going to add the yellow rhinestones now in the other half of the lower lash line. Finally done with the rhinestones. That took me so long. We are so close to being done. I'm going to add some mascara to my eyes now, and I'm using the Maybelline Lash Sensational Intense Black Mascara. To finish off this eye look, we obviously need some false eyelashes. I'm using the Stars in Their Eyes lashes from the Eyelure Enchanted collection. While we wait for the eyelash glue to dry and get a bit tacky on the lashes, why don't we get into the next question? Question number 13 is, in the book, noted in the book, not in the movies, what color were the dress robes that Padma Patil wore to the Yule Ball? The options are magenta, pink, turquoise, or lime green. I'm gonna go with turquoise, and the correct answer is turquoise. Question number 14, almost at the end. What does Romilda Vane ask Ginny about Harry in Half-Blood Prince? Whether he is actually the chosen one, whether he looks like a mole without his glasses on, how rude, whether he has a hippogriff tattoo, interesting, and option number 4, whether when touched his scar burns. Let's go with option number 1, whether he is actually the chosen one. So the correct answer is whether he has a hippogriff tattoo. Lashes done, and there's only one more step left to finish off our Gryffindor look, and that is adding some color to the lips. I'll be using the Revlon Super Lustrous lipstick in the shade Black Cherry. And there you have it. This is the final Gryffindor inspired makeup look. I'm very happy with how all the different elements came together, and we can really see those Gryffindor red and yellow colors shining through. Of course, we still have one last question left in our quiz, so can't end the video without ending our quiz. Question number 15. Who is the editor of the Daily Prophet? Options are Barnabas Cuff, Urquhart Rack Harrow, wow, these names, Xenophilius Lovegood, or Broderick Bode. I'm gonna go with Barnabas Cuff. And the correct answer for the final question is Barnabas Cuff. So let's view my results. So my final score for the quiz is 8 out of 15, which is 53%. Which is a pass. That's all we needed. They say, rather impressive, but not as amazing as it could have been. Thanks, Pottermore. Let me know how you did in the quiz, and of course what you think of the final Gryffindor inspired makeup look. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a like down below, and of course I'll see you guys next week.